not helping me. So, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to Srinivasan. So, if you need questions, please post it, and then we will be happy to answer. So, thank you, Mr. Srinivasan. Thank you very much for session. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to one and all. So, I would like to thank you, all the speakers so far. I'm going to talk about my session. Just a quick introduction is I'm CEO of Data Labs India. Today I will be talking about strategy execution with the organizational alignment. So how can you succeed in strategy execution with proper organizational alignment? So let me share my screen, and then uh, okay. So if you are able to see the screen, can somebody confirm? Yeah. Okay. So Praveen, just confirm something. Okay. Uh,
Yeah, yes, sir. It is visible now.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, how to drive successful strategy execution with organizational alignment. This is my topic today. I'll talk about very quickly about strategy formulation and execution, and then I spend little time on the organizational alignment. So I'll try to make my session by for 30 minutes. Uh, and also I will show you something about fruiStrategy. Okay, so quick introduction from my side is I'm expert in strategy formulation and execution, the supply chain planning and operations. So my experience also goes to technology, especially the supply chain execution systems, which includes manufacturing execution system, warehouse management, transportation and fleet management, and so on and so forth. So we have, fortunately, I'm the one of the core team member in designing fruiStrategy and fruitC along with my team. So we talk more about that. So this is where, if somebody wants to reach me, you have my contact details here. You can take a screenshot or so. Just write it to me. I'll just want to start with something. So we have a wonderful sessions today. Malapraj has very decent explanation about Indian way of doing business and how the strategies work. So I'll just take it from there. Okay, so what are the key challenges of CEOs in India, primarily, and of course these are the challenges everywhere. If you talk about, uh, I'll just let me select. So execution is failing. So strategy is there in mind, but if you want to execute it, it will not happen for whatever the reason. When you do the strategy reviews, management reviews, that is more confusion than a decision orientation. Okay, the targets not translated into actions. We always make fantastic targets, monthly or quarterly, whatever. Then when you go into reality, so those are not really translated properly into actions. That means what? So your results will not be same as your targets. So the CXOs, the head of business departments, basically spend more time on the presentations and Excel, working on the numbers, making sure that they try to convince the management, kind of thing. And then there is no single source of truth. That means it is always confusing. The single source of truth could be in form of data, or in form of accountability, or in form of process. So it could happen. So what is the solution for this is, one overall question for on top of all this is, do you have a strategy management process? See, if you don't, if strategy management process, why it is very important is, you you talk about other processes like procurement process, procure to pay process, you talk about the order to delivery process, you talk about manufacturing process. All these processes, you design it, document it very well, you train the people, they work in and out, use systems for that, and then you get the results. But when it comes to overall governance of the organization, and also overall strategy management and strategy execution process, you don't have. So what happens is, this is not a very standard process, and it keep changes from company to company. So you don't follow a certain rhythm and the strategy process. So you need to establish that. What does that mean is, I don't want to start from a generic one. I want to start something which is proven methodology very quickly. We talk about execution premium approach, which is one of the very popular methodology. So it has a six-step approach. It will tell about six stages. Stage one, you develop your strategy first. That means you have your external and internal analysis, come up with the mission, vision, values, and formulate strategy. Of course, how what comes first and what comes next, that is debatable. I But at the end of the stage one, you need to have your strategy formulated and ready, and then you need to have a plan for the strategy. Okay, that means the strategy planning is execution of your strategy. Okay. Now this strategy, if you keep it yourself, nobody understands. Usually this will be in the heads of the business owners, and then it has to be translated into the operational terms. So how do you translate? There are tools how to do that. If you don't want to use any tool, it will be very hard to translate the strategy, first of all. Secondly, there could be an opportunity, there could be a chance that you misunderstand the strategy translation. And if it is not a standard framework, then what happens is, everybody will understand, have their own way of translating the strategy. So one of the approach is the balanced scorecard approach. You don't have to. One a very nice word Mallapraj has said is that you need to adopt the methodology to your company. It is applicable not only in India; it is applicable everywhere in the Middle East, everywhere. The methodology only tell you the step-by-step approach, but how does you take it up and adopt to your company and your culture is very important. I will give another example. Now, PMP certification is very popular. There are, I think that is the biggest, most popular certification in the world, and many people have certified across the globe. But when you go to real project management, I'm a project manager for maybe 3 decades, more, maybe more. We adopt those methodologies and execute projects, but we never exactly work point by point, pin by pin. No, it's a methodology. It gives you an idea, and you adopt those methodologies and execute your projects on your way. Similarly, the strategy management process. So my request is, not don't afraid of methodology or framework. Don't afraid. So you just understand it, use it whatever applicable to your environment in a stage wise, in a phase wise. Okay, now this is the part I would like to do it, and then this is the part I would like to do it later. At least I have a framework to rely on. So that's the idea. So translate the strategy and then align the organization. You align the organization now. So once you have your strategy, you translated the strategy into balance scorecard or whatever, then you need to align the organization. Now what we do, it is like a sharpen the saw. If you don't align and expect the results of the organization, then you are definitely going to fail. You will be maybe frustrated, we can call it. Okay, so how to align organization? Your everything, whatever you do in the organization, that must be aligned to your strategy. If you don't do that, then there will be inefficiencies. Okay, so there will be some wastage of your resources. Okay, so it is usually a big problem in a smaller and mid-sized companies, even in the larger organizations. Okay, so align organization. Aligning means what? If you want to align your organization, first thing comes your business processes, your people, your systems, and then you also need to align your budgeting process. So and of course your projects. So operations, business processes, projects, the people and systems. All these things together need to be aligned. To run the business, you do budgeting, and budgeting needs to be aligned with the strategy. I think that's what organizational alignment is. We talk more about it. And plan your operations. When you do your operations, make sure that it is also in alignment with your strategy. Then execute. It's a day-to-day job. Your operations and your projects. You execute your projects. The stage five is reviews. So you need to review. When you don't, review is not like a policing. Review is a learning process. So you need to separate strategy review processes, and then you need to have a separate operational review processes. Typically, what will happen is these your operational review processes dominate your management reviews. The reason is always there is a firefighting, there is a blame, okay, there is a short-term solutions. You call it as a jugad or whatever. So these operational reviews, let them be there. You must have your strategy review meetings at least once in a quarter. If you must have at least once in a month, if not at least once in a quarter, but you talk only about strategy in that review meetings. If you don't do that, then your operational reviews or operational problems will dominate. You will never have a clarity on what you are doing in from the strategy point of view. So that is one of the most important thing what we need to understand. Then don't go blindly. You keep in the stage six, you try. Is your assumptions working? If you are not, what is it? What is working and what is not working? You correct it. So whatever your scorecards, whatever you have developed, you need to correct it. Okay. And then if there is any emerging strategies like any external environment change suddenly, you need to quickly change it also. Then this cycle has to continue, and then this cycle have to continue with the support of your strategy planning process, and then operations planning process. I think this is one of the very popular balanced scorecard approach. I'll just take up this, and then maybe I'll put it in a very simpler way. Next, there is another popular framework, objectives and key results. So where you have organizational goals, then you select objectives. Then instead of focusing on multiple objectives, you focus on very close one or two objectives at any given time, and then focus on the results. This to close the gaps. Then you can do some projects. This is very popular, by the way, but there is a problem with this approach. The problem is, how do you know your organizational goals? If you don't have a proper strategy formulation process, like doing internal analysis, external analysis, your strategic choices, I'll talk about that later. If you don't have a proper strategy formulation, then whatever goals you choose will be your wish list. Okay, so if your organizational goal is a problem, then all your whatever you do in the organizations and in the key results and the projects is your problem. If your organizational goal is correct one, by coincidence or by chance, then you have a proper results. So this is a very risky. I don't know. We don't. I do. I personally don't recommend to go for OKR unless you have a proper goals in your mind. Okay, it's very risky though. So there is another methodology called Hoshin Kanri. It is more. It is a. So it covers very nice parts of balance scorecard, but it has some gaps, especially in the organizational alignment and execution part. Okay, so if you are following properly a balance scorecard approach or a execution premium approach, you don't have to really worry about a Hoshin Kanri. I don't go deep into this. Now I will try to simplify the six-step approach on my way, how to look into it. So here it's always, it's a linear steps are easy to understand. That's the reason I converted this into. So do the strategy analysis. That means what? You diagnose it. Okay, you diagnose it. So what you do here basically, you do the external analysis, internal analysis, organizational assessments, and do the scenario planning. Scenario planning was almost always kept aside earlier. Okay, as one of our speaker told today, Rudolph. So from this year, There are so many uncertainties across the globe that the scenarios keep changing. Okay, so now the scenario planning become one of the most important tool for you as an organization. So do the strategy analysis. Okay, and then what happens is you formulate your strategy and set goals. So the goals is outcome of your strategy. I mean, like it's like a you, it will be easy to communicate. So you come up with a formulate strategy. The outcome is your strategic goals or whatever you call it. Okay, so for that, you need to have your strategic choices. You need to have a strategic choices. What are the alternative choices you have, and what are the choices you select deliberately, and then what you don't select. Okay, strategies of also is not doing what you should not do. Okay, so you select strategic choices what you want to do, and come up with your value proposition. What is it you are giving to your customer? Once you understand this, then don't have a temptation to do other things. So this is very very important. So formulate your strategy and set goals. Then the third thing is alignment. So here we talk about business processes, projects. Now this is the topic of my subject today. So business processes, projects, people, risk and compliance, systems and technology, budgets, maybe ESG, everything will come into this. Okay. Now there is a way how to do it. It will, by the way, organizational alignment will not happen just like that. It will not happen just like that. So don't think that we talk very nicely about it. Align organization, very fancy thing, but it will not happen just like that. You need to have a framework to do that. Well, execution premium is one of the best for aligning the organization. I have not come across any other tool which can be really used to align the entire organization. Maybe there are bits and pieces, there are multiple methodologies which can do it partly correct for one or two things. But if you want to do everything together, execution premium is the best. Okay, so aligning the organization, we talk about that, and execute strategy when you do your day-to-day projects and operations and all. No, here what we'll do is you need to establish a performance management culture. So very nicely explained today by Ravin Saraf. Okay, the performance culture, performance management. So what is a performance management is here is very nicely explained. If you have missed, please watch it. But I'll just say here in the context of overall process, you measure what matters. Okay, and then make sure that this is the right measures, and then you have an actions when you review your strategy. You make sure that you come up with actions. You review, we fight, we blame everything, but if you don't come up with your actions, and then you don't do those actions, your strategy will not be executed. It will be only on the paper. Okay, so we need to have a discipline of review, come up with the action items, and then make sure that these actions are executed in real time. That's where the execution of the strategy comes. Then if you have any emerging strategies, you need to really make sure that you cover up, you adopt properly and faster. The transform and grow say stage is, that means you keep watching. Are you really growing or you are not really growing? You need to watch it properly and make sure that your organizational transformation, whatever you are expecting, is achieving or not. How do you do that? Make it simple. If you don't measure it as a number, then it will be always a confusion. Yeah, stick to some numbers. Like one is organizational readiness index, your strategy balance scorecard, your score, maybe your OKR score, whatever you call it. One most important point, what I see in the transform and grow is leaders' readiness. Do you have a very nice pipeline of your leadership for succession planning or next level of leadership readiness? It is very important that if you are really transforming and growing, your leadership readiness is visible very clearly. That means you build a pipeline of leaders within the organization at all levels. Leaders does not mean only top. So leaders at all levels, including at the executive supervisor level. So you need to have a leaders. Okay, then you need to have a sustainability. sustainable growth. Sustainability is, I think we had a couple of sessions today. Sustainability is very important. That's where the ESG comes into picture. So it's earlier it is enough focusing on only governance. Now environmental and social, because if you don't focus on environmental and social, then your business is not sustainable. As simple as that. Okay, so either you will have a regulatory problem or any other challenging business problem or any other thing. So if you are complying with the environmental, social, and governance, your organization is more safer. So this is one pager what I talk about. In the Indian context, okay, I'll just make it very simple. Okay, make it, you plan it, what you plan, you do the business planning and goal setting. I just a layman terminology. So in that, what we do is you analyze internal and external, you formulate strategies, you build scorecard, and also fix targets. So this is the simplest way. Okay, if you don't do that, what happens is you don't have any number as a reference. Okay, then you, to achieve these targets, you need to have budgets, operational expenditures, capital expenditure, and strategic expenditure. So this is your planning. Okay. So you need to do that. Then you execute it. You perform and grow. Now, before growing, execution readiness, I just make it in a very simple way. You cascade it to all levels. You align the organization. Detailed planning. You sync up with your operational plans. Reviews, and then control. So one of the key challenge in Indian environment, especially, and also of course any other, it's a control. So plan versus actuals, appraisals, actions. You need to have a controlled environment along with your process management, so that you don't have to worry about it. For example, you have uh, you have a data protection. Okay, so one of the key area is risk. Okay, so risk management. So you need to make sure that your data is safe, you have a very proper safety culture in place, because if something goes wrong, you have a big problem, kind of thing. Okay, then here when you talk about alignment, so aligning your departments, your operations, your projects, people, risk and compliance, you align all of them. Okay, now I don't want to go into this slide, but this slide maybe I can share with you. You can have them. This is a very detailed step-by-step approach. It looks very organized, but it's very easy. You can do it. It's not a, see here, when you say plan is not a the great thing. The planning process is a great thing. So this planning process, if you adopt, you learn a lot about your organization and also your people very much. Okay, so this is a step-by-step process. Whatever we talk about, this is a step-by-step approach. I just skip it. Okay, now I would like to talk about one important excuse me, strategy map. So very important tool for translating strategy. So you can have a four perspectives here as part of execution premium. So you can have a financial view, customer view, internal businesses, learning and growth. So I'll not spend a lot of time. So you can have a scorecards developed like this. One important point is I want to spend time here. Aligning the organization. So now I talk about few points how to align your projects. Now your project initiatives are here. When you talk about project, so you have activities and milestones, you have deliverables, you have benefits realization, initiatives, performance report, blah blah blah. Now this initiative management is driven by your strategy. So all your project could be your part of initiative management, and your PM. You have benefits. I'm sorry, my throat is not helping me. Similarly, you have a people process. So when you talk about people, your individual performance, team performance, then 360. This is aligned to your strategy. Okay. Then you have your people score outcome. So this is a step-by-step approach. The people process performance can be aligned. Your business processes can be aligned like this. You define your processes, then align to the strategy, and then you achieve results. Okay. Systems, IT systems, it's very important. So you have a lot of systems in the organization. Now you buy many technologies and you invest a lot. Now it is AI is very predominant. Then how do you decide? It's a two-way process. It should help businesses also to be innovative. It's also drive from the business. So that's how IT is aligned. The budgeting. So you talk about operational expenses. This is outcome of strategy. The capex, statics, financial reporting. This is the overall organizational alignment. You have a corporate, you have business units, support units. Uh, so this is there is a structural way how to do it. In if you have a chance, we can look into it. The review meetings is a very proper way to do strategy review meetings. If you don't do, it's a problem. Dashboards, okay, and integrations. And how we help is we help you to define your strategies, help you to translate it, implement it, and then support. Okay. Now I will. So I just would like to. Okay, I'm sorry. Praveen, I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Yeah. So I would like to conclude my presentation by showcasing a very high level view of fruiStrategy. So fruiStrategy help you to do the strategy analysis, both external, internal, and it help you to do organizational assessments, use either BSC or OKR as a frameworks, and then align the whole organization, the projects, people, processes, the budgets. So one example is, so when you talk about any dashboard or something, I kept it open for quite a long time. Sorry. Yeah. So this will tell you that how does that your overall organizational score works, your scorecard performance, your financial, your customer. So you can see here all the strategic objectives, measures, targets, and how it works. Okay. So you can also cascade it by different levels. if you have a multiple levels. Likewise, you can have your strategy map. If you have a multi-organization, so you can see all your organizations. Okay, so you can see uh, the performance of your entire organization in one screen. So like you can see what is going on, the projects, what is going on, what are the risks we are talking about, everything. So basically, complete organizational setup can be managed through this approach. Mhm. Yeah. So there are okay. I am unable to see this. So likewise, we have a modules for organizational assessments. So ESG assessment is there, organizational health index. Likewise, this fruiStrategy should be able to help you to complete manage your strategies. I think I'm going to stop here because my throat is not supporting. I'm sorry. So I'll just stop my screen share, ladies and gentlemen. So uh, the conclusion is the fruiStrategy is a single stop solution for complete strategy execution for you, including performance management. So I will be happy to give a demonstration to you at any given time. I take this as an opportunity to conclude Indian Business Excellence Summit, and I would like to thank all speakers from the morning. I really liked all the speakers' presentations today. Very insightful, very committed, and I have not seen such a senior leaders giving lectures. So we have a top 10 lectures today. Our team will make the videos and then share it with all. So thank you all participants, all speakers, organizers. Thank you, Praveen. Thank you, Jyoti, for making this Indian business excellence great success. Thank you very much. Thank you.